Hello everybody! Alien abductions. Don't you hate it when that happens? Today we're going to be writing a piece of video game music for an imaginary game about alien abductions. Hang on, I can't see a thing with these on. And we're going to be using a number of different Spitfire libraries. First and foremost, we're going to be starting with Neo. Okay, Neo is, as the name implies, a sort of new forward-looking version of Albion that, again, like all the Albions, it's very much an ensemble-based thing, but it's it's quite small numbers of players, and where's the phrase? A modern composer's dream, intimate, expressive sounds and textures. Well, I certainly hope so, because Neo is going to help us tell the story of our alien abduction. The other libraries we're going to be using are Albion, Loegria. Is that how you pronounce it, Loegria? This is one of the earliest ones. I think it was number 2. I bought it many, many, many years ago. And it took me at least 10 years to work out how to pronounce Loegria. And then I had to look up what it meant. It turns out it's an ancient name for England. But because nobody could pronounce Loegria, they called it England instead, which seems entirely reasonable to me. Then we've got a couple of add-on libraries, so to speak. Moonglades, Ravenbush, which is all kinds of interesting acoustic and electronic sounds. And Hainbach, I think it's a Mr. Hainbach, it could be a Ms. Hainbach, I'm not sure. Anyway, this German-based composer goes out onto rubbish heaps finding old test equipment and into nuclear labs. Oh, that might be the chap himself. There we go. And he finds bits of electronic equipment which make weird and wonderful sounds, and then he makes sample libraries out of them. Some people have too much time on their hands. But fortunately, he's made a library for us, so that's all fine, so that's not going to be a problem. Now, the way we're going to put this little track together, we're going to do a 16-bar loop. There we go, got that set up. We're going to do it in 3 layers. So in other words, in the game, there's going to be a loop. It's going round, round, round. And on top of that, when we want to introduce some tension, there's going to be another layer, which the gameplay will then, as the aliens come nearer. Did you hear that? Must be my imagination. Okay. As the aliens get closer, we increase the tension. And then there's going to be a third layer, which is going to be synced by the extraction, when the actual alien starts the extraction process. So there's 3 layers and a 16-bar loop, and we're going to do this in real time. So what am I waiting for? Let's jump in. Okay, let's start. What I want is a sort of drone, basically, to get me going. Let me get Neo Strings up. Now, the way Neo Strings works is you get essentially 2 string sections. You get an A and a B. They're both relatively small, but it means you can layer them together. So, for example, that's them both playing the normal, straightforward one. Let's try this one on... Where's the wavy one? There we go. Long pulses. We want to get a bit of movement into this. Now, what else have we got in here? Down the bottom, flautando, little testo, what's that? Octaves blended, tremolando, long seagulls. How do you do a long seagull? Ha! Is that going to work? No, that's too much going on in there for a drone. So we're not going to use that one. I'll use super flautando con sordino. Let's blend that with our wavy one. Oh, that's quite good. Bit of movement in there, that's all we want. Right, now, let's start with just doing that. 2, 3, 4. So, the sound of sci-fi, if you go back to the 30s or whatever, 40s, you know, the initial sound of sci-fi was very much the theremin. And thus it stayed until probably the 60s with 2001: A Space Odyssey, which took two different approaches to the sound of sci-fi. One was the kind of perhaps more obvious approach, which was the ligeti, the kind of very atonal experimental music, which sort of went well with this kind of very bizarre storyline. And the other was the complete opposite, which was these Strauss waltzes with all these people walking upside down and the sound of the Strauss waltz. So the contrast. And this contrast has continued. You know, if you think about Star Wars, which is a sort of super sci-fi adventure with very traditional swashbuckling music. So Weir kind of goes very much more on the sort of sound design side today with our little experiment here, which is pretty much where sort of people like Hans Zimmer with Dune have gone, I think. Right, let's now add a woodwind layer to that. What do we think of this? I prefer something wavy. Long detuned. Okay. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Oh, yeah. Okay, right, now to make a loop work nicely, it really helps. I mean, you can do it just like this, but it really helps if there's something a little bit more forthright on the downbeat. So you've got something to loop back into. Now, most people who've had the Albions will know of Easter Island. These are these enormous drums. It's if you want something to shake loose a tooth, this will do you nicely. See what I mean? It's a bit loud, actually. What we're going to do is stick one of these in on the downbeat, and it's going to be great. Trust me. Here we go. Ah! That's not the downbeat guy. Now here, 2. Right. Now we're going to bounce our friend to audio, because I always bounce to audio. Almost always, because there's always good reason for it. So we'll be able to cut and paste him later. What we're also going to do is add two things. I'm going to filter him, take a lot of the top off, so he's almost like a little sub. Where are you, mate? There we go. Let's roll it down, see what that sounds like. That's not bad. And to give it a nice long tail, we could use usual normal reverb, but for this kind of special effect, super long one, I use Black Hole, which is extremely good. Here we go, listen to this. There we go. Right, now we can copy this down to 1 to halfway through. Right, okay, so far so good. I need some more interest in here though, it's a bit plain at the moment. Tell you what, shall we? Okay, the crazy idea dude. How's that going to fit? Well, he lives up to his name, doesn't he? Water? No, that's not going to fit. Light bloom. Ooh. Oh, oh, listen to that. It's got a little rhythm to it. I like that. Let's drop that in. Yes. Okay, we're just going to cut and paste that, because what we're going to do is, that'll do. I'm going to put it to audio to start with. Then on this one, we're going to add some delay. So I'm going to use some ping pong delay. So we're always going to repeat the rhythm. So I'm going to put it on quarter notes. Where are you, quarter notes? Come on, there we go. Quarter notes, quarter notes, quarter notes. Right, there you go, quarter note. We're going to whack up the feedback. And so what we want it to do is almost like sound like a constant rhythm, but the delay is going to be and run off. That's good. I like that. Is it going to need any filtering? Do we want it to be a bit quite subtle? Okay, we're getting there now. We're getting there. I want something else though. We're not there yet. I want something more pulsy, more synthy. So let's get this one up, which is ED&A. Is a sort of, you'll find it in quite a lot of Spitfire stuff. It's basically a synth engine which is driven by the sample. So look, and again, it's got an A and a B, and you can apply various lots of modulation to the A and to the B, and you can mix between them, left and right, and then you can stick it through a gate sequence or anything else you want. Let's, okay. I want something different on the right-hand side. How about tremolando? What? Do we want some wobble in with it? Right, let's now put the gate sequence on it. Let's do alternate like that, so it's going to go left, right, left, right. Right, jump to life. Smooth it. Speed it up. Don't like the tremolo anymore, I've gone off that. Okay, let's see what we've got in the mixer, in the effects. What else we got? I quite like that. Okay, look, we're going to use this. Let's see how this goes. Go left, let's play it in, and then we're going to blend it in. We want it all to start at the beginning because then we can bring bits in and out, but I'm going to want this starting right from the start. Okay, let's do that. Right, so now let's bounce our friend out. What we might do with this is bring it in during the loop. So we can start it, but we can either put this on a separate layer so that it's controlled by a real-time controller within the game. So let's see what you think when it comes in. works. Okay, right. Now we're going to bounce this whole loop out and stick it. We're going to call this Sci-Fi bass, and this will be the bass loop. So we'll bounce it out and we'll bring in an audio track, and then we're going to add 2 more layers. How long have we been going? 16 minutes. Oh my goodness. Right. I better get going or I'm going to get... Did you hear that again? There's certainly something going on. Weird. I just keep on hearing strange things. Okay, it doesn't matter. Right, so look, let's package all these up actually. We'll put them all together into a folder and then we'll mute the folder off and we'll just work with the audio. Now, if we want it to loop, easiest way to get things to loop, go to 17, the end of the loop, cut it off, cut the end off, drop it down onto a new audio track, which you then put at the start, and that should now loop. Here we go. Let's just run it from the end so you don't have to listen to the whole thing, and we'll see if it works. Okay, ready? Perfect. So all I did to create the loop was to chop off the reverb tail there, put it on a second track, which is at the start. So in other words, you're not suddenly hearing that reverb tail disappear, it's there. And because we got that dull thud at the beginning, it sort of helps mask things. Right, now we're going to add another layer. We're going to put a string flautando in, because why not? You know, I mean, wouldn't be Spitfire without a string flautando. Look, they look very gamey. The trouble is, I honestly can't see a thing out of these. Never mind. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Right, okay, come on, guy, you've got to get on with this. Right, let's get into, what have we got? String flautando. Okay, right, let's add, this is going to be a tension layer, so I want this to add something tense to the mix. Okay, tense enough for you? Oh dear, come on. Roll with it, roll with it. Okay, now we're going to have a bit of, this is another lower Greer one. It's a combination between French horn and euphonium, I think. Horn euph. It's a really nice round sound. Quite like that. That's all it is. Okay, that is our second layer. These two together, which is our tension layer. So now we're going to bounce those out as well. You know, I'm doing this really quickly, as you can tell. And always with all these loops, you're going to record more than you need. Right, let's go in and export audio mix down. There, 2. So the last part of this is going to be the alien abduction moment. Ah! Okay, so we want something which builds up to the moment where you go whoosh, like that. Okay. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, let's just put these fellas into a little folder. There you go. Have a nice day, chaps. Okay, bye, guy. All right, there we go, all gone. Right, how are we going to extract ourselves? Well, a couple of things. Our friend here, I love this. This patch is really nice. Ravenbush Moonglades. Look, there is no sound on Earth that doesn't sound more like me being abducted by aliens than that. Is that going to be too long? I think it might actually, because it's got to be triggered by an event in the game, and I don't think the extraction is going to take as long as that, so we'll do that. And once again, this definitely we're going to bounce. Then we're going to use a Fenton reverse. Now, named after George Fenton. These are really nice collection of reverse sounds which are used to sort of smooth over dodgy transitions in bits of music. It's a sort of saving time trick type thing. Okay, so that sounds like me being abducted by aliens. Let's do that one. See, that is why I'm bouncing this to audio, because it's going to make it much easier for me to sync up where they all come off, like there. And what's the other one? I don't know. Lower Greer Seagulls. Oh yeah, we can have a bit of that. Okay, render that in place, and actually I'm going to chop it off so it's chopped off pretty abruptly. Right, now we're going to put all these so they line up with the end of the loop. Okay, so come on everybody. Actually I can bounce that out, and then I can bounce the whole thing together, and then we'll have a performance, and then we'll call it done. Okay, here we go. Export. Audio mix down. Okay. Layer 3. Boing. Right. Export. Go. Right. Okay. Now we can mute all these off too. So we now have got the whole event. Okay. So what I want you to imagine is right, we start with that layer. Let's bring that in. Right, okay, so here we go. There's something going on out there. What's that strange light in the sky? Let's bring in the tension layer. I don't like it. I don't like it. There's something going on. There's something on, and I don't know what it is. And help, help! That light is getting so bright. I don't know what's going on. Help me, help me, help me. Oh no, I can feel them. They're here, they're here, they're here. Ah!